in Search for Wellness is created by Eden's Cellular Wellness Solutions, whose vision is to develop and create wellness solutions. Eden's Cellular Wellness Solutions presents to you How Do I Start My Journey in Search for Wellness? You are most welcome to participate in this series of discussions on 6 topics. These topics are designed as a wellness solution to encourage and empower you make the important decision and take action towards your journey in search for wellness. How do I start my journey in search for wellness? This is part 1 of trainings on wellness and is prepared by Eden's Cellular Wellness Solution. Welcome. In this training, we will be covering a series of topics. In fact, 6 topics. Why should I be interested? Why should I be interested? One can ask that question. Why should I be interested in searching for wellness? How do I start my journey? Someone may wonder, where do I begin? I have had this and that, but how and where do I begin? When do I start? At what stage of my life should I start? I don't feel pain anywhere. I'm not sick. I'm able to do my work. Is it really necessary? When do I start? What is my objective? My gift of life? And can I influence my wellness? So we'll be going through these sections in a series of short trainings until we complete the whole of the topics. Welcome to this section, section 2. How do I start my journey? How do I start my journey? As a second section of the main title of How do I start my journey in search for wellness? How do I start my journey in search for wellness? And so this is the second section, and I welcome to this section. We have already done section 1, and I hope you have been able to go through section 1. If you have not gone through section 1, please look up this video so that you can follow in sequence, because this information is in sequence. So in this section 2, we are going to see how do I start my journey in search for wellness. How do I start my journey in search for wellness? Already in section 1, we have gone through some points which have shown us critically that we really have a responsibility. We have seen what the researchers have done for us. We have seen what our medical or doctors have done over the years. Particularly, we highlighted the fight for Ebola 2014 in West Africa, and fierce battle that threatened the whole world. But we saw what the army of medical scientists, they achieved within record time. They were able to raise a cure, do research quickly, and be able to raise a cure for Ebola. And with this, we must continuously acknowledge the part that they have played in the survival for humanity, and the part that science plays in in preserving the lives of humanity and fighting the deadly diseases that attack our lives in day-to-day activities. Apart from the part which is played by the medical profession, we have also seen that there is a lot more that have been revealed by research scientists, medical research scientists, nutrition scientists, biochemical scientists, cell biology scientists. They have revealed a lot about the dependence of our cells on the optimal supply of nutrients. How our cells also depend on the speed of our physiology in the cells, how fast the organs are able to process, how the cells are able to process their reactions quickly, and that is what we call the speed of the reactions, the speed of their physiological work. And we have seen that these two speeds, they play a big role in generating wellness for us, and they work hand in hand with the optimal nutrient supply. And we have seen that optimal nutrients will only be obtained by an individual or the parent for the children. It is an individual who will provide for their cells, for the cells of the family members, the correct optimal nutrients. And also, it is still the same individual or the leaders in families who will ensure that their family members are active enough, encourage them to be active enough. If it is children, ensure that they are engaged in activities. They are not stuck to a computer the whole day. Ensure that the children are active. If it is in school, it is the teachers who will ensure that there are programs of sports and activity in school and colleges. This is not the responsibility of the doctor. This is not the responsibility of the medical doctor. And from here we see that in this scientific lifestyle revolution that we need to be engaged in, every person has a great role to play. And if someone is still asking the question of why should I be interested in entering this journey, I think what we have covered in section 1 should be able to give a person good enough reason and encourage them that surely it is not a waste of time. That surely even at age 30 years old, even at 35 years old, even at 25 years old, even as young as 15 years old, at 40, at 45, 50, and even advanced age, at every age, everyone must, it is important that everyone be informed and start engaging in activities to see how they can achieve some wellness objectives. And so in this section 2, we are going to look at, a person may ask, yeah, I agree. I've seen the points that you have raised. I've seen what is happening in the world. I see that I am also part of within this humanity, and I'm affected by the factors that affect every person and the environment. Yes, and I realize that it is a worthwhile cause. But then, how do I do it? I don't know anything about science. I don't know anything about nutrition. I don't know anything about biochemistry. I'm not even a medic. The best I can is get myself a painkiller for my headache. How do I start in this journey? And we are saying that this question is a very relevant question. This question is a very relevant question because when one reaches this point to ask, how would I start? I would want to do it, but I am bogged down by so much information. This so and so says this group says this group says this, the other group says don't do this, the other one says do not do this. But where do I start? And we are saying this journey, this question is a very important question, because the success of the journey starts from a person, from an individual, the state of mind, the state of thinking, the state of perception, how one's attitude and sense of importance of this endeavor. That is what will drive someone to fight victory and to fight and achieve results slowly by slowly, moving step by step and achieving results step by step. So we are saying that this question is a very important question, and is a very relevant question. And I am just grateful for anybody who is convinced that they should start this journey. And if you're asking this question, in fact, you are moving forward. This question addresses change. When you say, how do I start my journey? It is said that I would want to know what it means. I would want to know what this journey entails. And so what you're seeing is that this question addresses change. It addresses modification of some procedures in one's life. It also addresses adjustments in one's lifestyle. It addresses improvements in some areas and slowly creating a new lifestyle. It is a process of change. It is not an overnight event. And the most important thing is the decision that one makes in their minds is the seed of this change. And asking this question also means that one may slowly terminate doing some things one has been doing for a long time. It means that there must be, may be a slow change, which ultimately brings a total change, or it could be a radical change. And a radical change in such a manner that one stops some things that one has been doing and starts embracing others. But what I would encourage someone to make small changes. Small changes, so that one can be able to be established in those small changes after every step. Because change, with human beings have issues with change. And we can decide radically today, this week, I'll be eating this kind of thing, and I'll be doing exercises in this way. Every day I'll be doing this exercise. But you find that you carry out that change for 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks you don't even remember to do it. You don't feel motivation to do it, or you get so strained or so drained, or so the muscles become so painful. And then you don't feel like doing it anymore. Or you drastically change your mode of eating, and then you realize, I don't think I really like these tastes. So what we need is to embark on gradual small changes. As we continue to learn, we inculcate and use the information and the skills that we learn, and work on them continuously until they are established. And every small change will always bring you some results. And the results that you get will be so encouraging that you desire to continue. So it means that one may slowly terminate doing some things one has been doing for a long time, like smoking or sedentary living. Some people don't drink water. You start by drinking some water. Some people don't eat vegetables with their meals, or they eat very little vegetables. You may start by adding variety in your cooking, or in the variety of the vegetables that you eat, and so that you improve your content of eating. Some people may have to change from their sole protein supply of animal supplies, and start adding more of the plant protein supplies. So those kind of changes may need to be developed in a slow process. And one may start creating and developing new ways that work towards achieving wellness objectives. In fact, the most critical thing we will see later is the value, is the value of what we want to achieve, is the value of the objective of the journey, of the purpose of the journey, of the aim of the journey. That one is the one that you keep someone motivated, encouraged, and driving to do much more research. So we are saying that it is also, you also may start creating and developing new ways. As one starts doing some small things, and you realize they are improving. Some exercises, maybe walking for maybe 30 minutes every day, making a walk 30 minutes every day on daily basis, a short walk, but done on a daily basis. You start realizing, I'm feeling better, I'm breathing better, I'm not feeling as tired, I seem to have more energy, I am not bogged down, my mind is not clogged down. When one starts experiencing such small changes, one will really slowly try to see the weight and the beauty and the importance of the wellness of the wellness journey. And that way one will be encouraged to develop new ways that work towards achieving the wellness objectives. A call for creativity. A call for creativity. This slide talks to us about our resourcefulness. Creativity talks about a person's resourcefulness, the ability and the potential within themselves to do something, even something that they have never done before. What it says that, and what people experience, is that when you engage in a subject matter, even a subject matter that you have never experienced before, you realize that you'll be able to learn it, you'll be able to learn the relevant skills. If you continue to research on it, you even become an expert in that area, even without having gone to somebody's classroom. This adventure of searching for wellness, this adventure for searching for wellness, it is an individual responsibility. What one needs is some guiding keys. You learn some few things from somebody else, and you go and use those keys. Go learn some information, how to change your diet, how to change your way of living. Go and use it. Slowly by slowly, you start building a foundation of knowledge, a foundation of skills, a foundation of how to supply your nutrients, slowly by slowly. And you realize that within a year, within 2 years, you become very smart in it. That is what creativity is all about. And this endeavor, it calls us to call up creativity. It is a call for more creativity. This question of how do I start my journey? This question of how do I start my journey is subjecting ourselves to a call for more creativity from within our being. It means that one must now start thinking and focusing on how to supply nutrients in broader variety in the cells. We saw in the other section, we have seen in the other section that we have a big responsibility. We have a big responsibility to provide optimal nutrients for the cells. And so when one decides that I want to undertake this journey of searching for wellness, I want to take up this responsibility of changing my lifestyle, of adjusting here and there. What it means is that you are subjecting yourself to call up the resources that are within you. And it is now one's responsibility to start thinking of how am I going to provide the optimal nutrients in a broader variety in the cells. we saw in another video, in the video of Keys to Wellness, that the body cells require a very broad spectrum of bioactive substances, the substances that we are calling nutrients or biochemicals. And it means that we and every individual who undertakes this project, you're not depend on other people. You're not depend on other people to propagate this project for you or for myself. We will direct it ourselves. We will manage it ourselves. We'll be motivated. We will use our own self-drive to seek for what we need to do and go out and look for it and come and use it. So it is our responsibility to start thinking and focus on how to supply. How are we going to obtain these nutrients? It is a call on how supplies would be obtained from the market and converted into nutrient-dense dishes and drink cocktails. Research and from medical researchers and medical and nutrition scientists have already shown us that the greatest supply of our nutrients is from plant nutrients. We know that animal nutrients, animal supplies like beef, pork, chicken, lamb. There are other supplies from fish. There are supplies from rabbits. All these supplies are good supplies. The only danger is the fatty acids which are in them. The fatty acids are the wrong fatty fats. And they also at times come accompanied with antibiotics. But what we are being told is that with the animal supplies, we need to regulate. You need to regulate the supplies, the meats, so that we are not eating a whole big chunk of meat at a sitting. They say that at least per week, a person could eat protein supply from meat maybe three times in a week or 4 times in a week. So what we are saying is that protein supplies from animal products need to be regulated so that we have, and also it must be lean meat without fat. If it is chicken, remove all the fats from the chicken. If it is beef, remove all the fats from the beef. However, the greatest supply of nutrients, bioactive substances, will come from plant supplies. Will come from plant sources. Will come from a wide variety of vegetables. Will come from a wide varieties of fruits. Will come from a wide varieties of carbohydrate sources and legume sources. It will also come from nuts. It will also come from herbs and spices. So what we are saying, our foods will come from the marketplace. Our food comes from the soil because it's manufactured by the soil and the environment. And whatever is harvested from the shamba is brought to the market. And it is from the market that we go and get our nutrient supplies for nutrients. And so we have to think of how are we going to obtain healthy foods from the market? How are we going to convert these nutrients or food sources to nutrient-dense dishes? No. Because our aim is to provide optimal supply of nutrients. How are we going to convert our food supplies from the market into nutrient-dense dishes so that one serving, you are serving of a dish, you are serving in a plate, serving in your plate or in one's plate. Supposing it is divided in 3 portions, you have a third of legume supply or protein supply, a third of variety of vegetable supply, and a third of carbohydrate supply. and again in moderate proportions. Moderate, not mountains of food. Again, from the items that we get from the market, it is possible to make drink cocktails, cocktails of juices, maybe a fruit juice which contains more than three fruits, so that you don't take juice of only one fruit, or mango juice only, or pawpaw juice only, but mix about 3 types of fruits together. Or if it is vegetables, you have got salads. Salads are mixtures of salads, or kashubari, the one that we like, kashubari. Or also vegetable juices. This is what I'm seeing, that one must start thinking of how they are going to obtain these food supplies from the market, how they are going to be converted into nutrient-dense dishes. Your serving of food per meal must be nutrient dense, must supply a lot of broad spectrum of nutrients. And also how you're going to convert your food supplies into drink cocktails. So it will require that one invests on time. You invest on energy. One, you have to invest on focus, on creativity. And if one did not care where food comes from or how food is made, one just sits in a restaurant and food is served, or just one finds the food being eaten somewhere and just sees to get a bowl of food here and there. And in their homes, they never bother to go to the market, or they never bother cook. They never bother cook. They have a cooker in the home, they have sufurias, but the kitchen has no activity. There's no activity in the kitchen apart from drinking water. And so we are saying that this is a lifestyle change. This is why we are saying it is a lifestyle change. And instead of making a drastic, radical change, that's why we are saying, encouraging someone to make small, gentle changes. It is an adaptation. It is adapting one's life from one kind of lifestyle to another. Because some people never cook in their houses. Some kitchens, the kitchens are not functional because people eat outside. People eat outside all the time. They don't even know where the food comes from. They don't know where the beans came from, or the maize came from, or the cabbages came from, whether the cabbages were washed, whether the cabbages still had the pesticides on it. People are not aware of. So what we are saying is that you may have to develop love and interest towards the field of food and nutrient supply. So the question of how do I start my journey is a call from within one being for more creativity. Satiation. Satiation. One is satisfied. It is influence of nutrients. When one eats food that is nutrient dense, there is a kind of satisfaction that comes within the mind. And you may find that you may not, within the next 3 hours you are sitting in the office, you may not even remember, and you are consumed in your work and focus in your work. You may not even have a desire for a biscuit. You may not even have a desire for a cup of tea. Because what you took for your lunch or for your breakfast, it gives you such satisfaction, such biochemical satisfaction, that your system, your mind is not craving for anything. Developing satiation after every meal and efficiency of the cells means that one, you eat less in quantity and focus on nutrient-dense foods. How do I start my journey? We are trying to answer that question. How do I start my journey? Scientifically, how the nutrients influence our mind, how the nutrients how the nutrients influence the hormonal signals or hormonal triggers. There is a way that a nutrient-dense food just seems to quieten the biochemical systems, so that you find that your body, your mind is not craving for anything. For example, when one wakes up early in the morning and you must rush through your preparation and get to work, you have not taken even a cup of tea, and you get to the office, you have not even tasted anything. Most of the people, what they'll do first is take a cup of very strong coffee with a lot of sugar. And that one may be accompanied by a mandazi or a piece of cake. And after they have consumed that, after 2 hours, they want another cup of strong coffee again. And they also would want another samosa and a piece of cake and maybe a sweet banana with tea that has lots of sugar. And if someone never didn't, because they are too occupied and the demand of work is too demanding, the deadlines are too tight, you may find that someone does not get out of the office. And so the whole day, someone consumes only coffee and sugar and cakes and biscuits. So the body continuously, if this becomes a trend, you find that that is what the body keeps asking for. The body keeps asking for that. Or if one is used to eating a lot of chips every day, and cake every day, and white rice every day, you'll find that even after eating a whole meal, immediately you finish eating your meal, your mind is telling you, I need a cup of tea, I need a biscuit, I need a mandazi, I need this. So it means that your biochemical demand, biochemical questions has not been satisfied. The nutrients that you have provided in what you have eaten has not satisfied the biochemical vacuum of nutrients that the body was looking for. So you find that when you eat a nutrient-dense breakfast, the whole biochemistry is so satisfied that it will give you peace until for the next almost 4 hours. Maybe at 10 o'clock you take a cup of tea with some fruit or something like that, until takes you slowly by slowly in an ordered way. So we are talking here about the body being achieving a situation of the biochemistry being satiated, of the cells being satiated, of the mind being satiated, that what has been supplied as nutrients is correct. So that is one factor, developing satiation within your biochemistry, within your biochemical bioactive substances, within your cells. So when one is planning what they are going to eat in the morning, they plan something that will provide a whole broad spectrum of nutrients that will hold you until you might find that it is going to carry you until lunchtime, and you in between you are not even going to eat a mandazi that is full of oils. So working at developing satiation after every meal and efficiency of the cells. So we are talking about satiation of the cells, of the minds, of the whole system after every meal. And there is another point here about efficiency of the cells. So when you develop satiation and again develop efficiency in the cells, it means that one, you eat less quantity and focus on nutrient-dense food. The idea here of this journey in search for wellness, what do I need to do so that I can climb my steps towards searching for wellness? I need to climb these steps one by one towards finding and achieving my wellness objectives. So one, we have seen satiation is one of it, and the other thing is to improve the efficiency of our cells. If we improve the efficiency of our cells by providing nutrient-dense foods, we will find that you will no longer need to eat a big lump of carbohydrate food. You will not need to eat a whole big amount of a portion in one's plate. You'll find that you'll be able to the body will be satiated. You'll be satiated with a moderate amount, moderate proportions of the food categories that you have mentioned. You have your vegetable varieties together. You have your wholesome carbohydrate and your protein source, and you also have consumed your fruits. That kind of combination will give you nutrient dense, and with time it will go and increase the efficiency of your cells. So you provide satiation and you provide efficiency of your cells through nutrient-dense foods. And this will ensure that your amount of the portions of the food that you eat will come down. It will be reduced. So that's what actually what we are saying here, that if one was consuming more meat, for example, your daily consumption, you love meat, your body craves for meat, demands you must eat meat today. If you're given legumes like gram sauce, the sauce with the grams, or lentil sauce, or bean sauce, or the stews, when you're given something like this, your body will feel, your mind will reject it. I must take some chicken. I must take some sausages. I must take some beef. I must take some pork. You see, if one was consuming more meat alone, maybe you take on your plate there's meat on the side, or it is made together within a stew or even a sauce. And you consume this with more quantity of refined starches, like for example, with a lot of white rice and less vegetable and fruits. One will need to reconfigure the diet in order to bring about satiation with nutrient density. So you'll find that a meal like is described in point 1, it has a lot of refined starch, and it also has a lot of meat. It has less fruits and it has got less vegetables. So it will not provide satiation. You might find that after eating that, you are still looking for something sweet to eat. You are still looking for something more, or you still want to eat more meat. You are still looking for more meat to eat. Your body, your systems are not satisfied. And to achieve satiation and also improve efficiency of the cells, one may need to reconfigure their diet in order to bring about this point of satiation with nutrient density food, by ensuring that the food that you put on the plate per meal, it has nutrient density. So this means that depending on individual's lifestyle, depending on a person's lifestyle, you have to make some critical adjustments. So we have just mentioned about satiation on less quantity. And this means that you cut on refined starches. You cut on meat if you are consuming too much meat per week, or too much refined starches, and introduce more legumes in your diet. Introduce more seeds, more nuts, more herbs and spices. Herbs and spices are eaten in very small doses, but they carry very important and very potent phytochemicals, but even in their small amount, they are very, very effective in healing our bodies and helping the cells to fight toxins. You have to increase your variety of vegetables, fruits, and also wholesome starches, and also create cocktail juices. One may need to restructure one's budget towards achieving wellness objectives, and one may have to cut on spends that do not lead to wellness. So our objective in this journey is to achieve wellness, to improve our energy supply, to improve our creativity, to improve the hours that we are able to continue working without feeling fatigued, to improve our immunity, to improve the efficiency of our cells, and also improve the supplies of bioactive substances that we supply to our body on daily basis, and also ensure that we help the cells achieve objectives of cleansing and detoxification by also drinking 8 glasses of water a day. So to be able to achieve these things, there will be some critical adjustments that you have to deal with. So how do I start my journey? How do I start my journey? Since it has shown us that one has to really get engaged. One has to really get engaged, be more creative, be ready to make the necessary adjustments, and one also you need to learn to learn information which becomes the guiding light. With this, we come to the end of this section 2. Thank you very much for your participation. I'm very appreciative that you have given this work time, that you have given this work some attention, and I trust that the training has unlocked the gates into your journey in search for wellness. And may God help you in this endeavor. This work is a product of Eden Cellular Wellness Solutions. Goodbye.